Episode 274 of the Too Thick Pod, your home for all things sports, cards, and levity. I am Jeremy, joined by my son, Manny. What's good, kid?
What's up? I'm hype. Too Thick is back. We have tummy sweats and meat sticks on the ones and twos. Listen to by the millions
and millions.
Thank you for tuning in. We are pumped, as you could tell. I had my
for the thousands in attendance and the millions of Thiccelos listening and watching at home. Oh, let's get ready to Too Thick.
Now I'm sweating.
What the hell's going on here, man?
I don't know. We're happy to. I think we miss each other when we don't talk to each other for the whole day. We get excited. Well, at least me.
I too feel the same exact way. You know, when we have people on and we're interviewing them or discussing with them, like, you know, a show or something like that, there's a certain level of manner in which you need to conduct yourself. And so, you know, you and I are immature, unprofessional, and so this is an opportunity for us just to, let loose and have a little bit of fun.
Yeah, fun fact, Thiccelos, that's why Courtney's on our lives all the time, to keep us in track, because it would go way sideways if she wasn't here.
Guys, this was sports and cards, and you guys haven't discussed sports and cards.
Nope, not at all.
Nope.
So welcome.
None.
Sports. Best time of the year. You have the hockey playoffs. You have the NBA playoffs. You have F1 that started and then just disappeared for a month, but it comes back this weekend. You also have Champions League soccer and how my team might get relegated, but here and there. And then we have baseball. What a time to be alive.
So many years ago, I don't even know how it happened. It wasn't by design, but we ended up in Las Vegas for Cinco de Mayo weekend. Mm-hmm. And that was maybe 10, 12, 13 years ago. And outside of like maybe a COVID year, we have gone every year for Cinco de Mayo. So what you failed to mention is also like Kentucky Derby. There's typically a fight, in the past it was Floyd Mayweather, and then the torch was passed to Canelo. So we leave for Vegas Monday. We'll be out there for another week. No mint this time to distract us from gambling, drinking, and all sorts of other debauchery that takes place in one Las Vegas. But you are right. It is sports heaven right now. As a matter of fact, if you're watching YouTube, watch Manny's eyes. He's not even looking at the screen because he's just enthralled with everything that's going on in one NFL draft that's taking place right now.
So you'll see in the later part of the show, Jeremy and me were on for like 15 minutes trying to think of a Thiccest of the week. And we were both having some brain fog. We found someone, but then as we're recording, I'm like, crap, I got a good one. So I brought up another one. You'll see it. And it's going to be better because now you haven't like seen what I'm picking. So I think you'll like it.
So this is beautiful. There's a lot to talk about. There is the hobby is alive. Yeah. It's alive.
It's alive.
Manny and I are slick. We're so smart that we're out in front of it and we take a fat L. Right now, you've got Comc, you've got the whole TCG, Manny's buying cards, Jeremy's watching anime, there's updated strategy, and then there's hobby beef. There's some podcast out there with, I don't recall their names, but somehow it seems like their issue is with you, but somehow I'm getting dragged into it. I'm not in any of these group chats. I've never exchanged words with these people. And now that there's hobby beef. So I don't know how the hell that works. So we're going to touch on all of it. But I'm going to defer to you, Mr. Manny. Where do you want to start this week?
Let's talk about our L's, because that's what we want to talk about. Bad news first. And I told you that I was done with sports cards, and not meaning like I don't like sports cards. I love sports cards. But I want to do all my focus on TCG right now. I have fun doing it. I get to buy cases and rip it, right? Can't buy Prism and rip it because I know I'm going to get boned. I can't buy Bowman and rip it because I'm going to get boned. Well, I bought ahead of the NFL season and before the draft hype. I was buying Jameson Williams cards because he was hurt when he got drafted, tore his ACL, fell in the draft, fell to the Lions, and we're from Michigan, so a lot of people have hype on Jameson Williams. Coming back, and he gets caught gambling, rolling that dice, the Detroit Gamblers. So
Boom, that's my point, bitch. That's my point, bitch.
they were at MGM betting on games, which I don't get. Like, I honestly don't get why they're getting suspended.
Do you think they were at MGM or do you think they were at Greektown?
They might have been.
Or do you think they were out for a while and made their way over to Motor City?
Oh, you don't go to Motor City. They won't be at Motor City. They're probably at Greektown, to be honest with you.
Okay, Greektown's always a great time.
Yeah, it is. Greektown. If you're in Detroit, go to Greektown. But I don't think they should have got suspended. It's obviously that they were betting on games that probably were not football related, but they get in trouble. Because if it was football related, they probably would have got a year suspension like Calvin Ridley.
I guess my stance on this whole thing is whether or not I think the rule is foolish. And I tend to think as long as you're not gambling on games that you're participating in, or you don't have any sort of direct connection to the outcome of a game, I don't have an issue with it. However, if the rule is the rule is the rule, I'm always curious as to why somebody making that kind of money would risk it doing something when there's plenty of other ways to gamble. And isn't it like, I don't want to misspeak, but isn't just like sometimes the logistics of where you actually place the bet? Like if you were at home, if he did the same thing allegedly at home, as opposed to wherever he was, whether it was the training facility, the lunch table, team facilities, it wouldn't have been a big deal. Am I right in that?
Yeah. They wouldn't have known. I mean, if you're smart and kind of think outside the box, you could just have someone else bet for you on a phone. It's definitely legal in Michigan. It doesn't have to be your domain.
I mean, Vegas Dave at one point in time was using dead people's social security numbers. If Vegas Dave can figure it out, come on. So anyway, Jameson Williams gets popped along with several others. He's suspended for 6 games. And so if you rewind and you go back over the last few weeks, hobby icons such as Manny being Manny 1.0, the Courtney, Cage Lawyer, everybody was out in front of Jameson Williams, understanding like, hey, it's local to us, so we understand what the buzz is and what it's going to be. But people were buying in, and you were out. You were crushing it. You weren't just buying little something, something. You were buying the Forest camos. You were buying cereal. The Mojos. You were Mr. Super Short Print or bust. Yeah. And as you messaged me to show me your piles of Jameson Williams, words come out. You texted me, and this is actually pretty funny. You texted me, and before I even opened up the message, you just said Jameson taking L's, Jameson suspended. So I went right to Discord and I posted all my Jamesons up for sale at like 80%. Like I didn't even know what it was. I'm just like, well, if Manny's texting me, it's not good. I know that me and you both have some money and let's dump. And then when I came back after talking to you, I had like the cloud emoji and the crying, laughing emoji like hit like 150 times. So like everybody knew what I was trying to do.
Yeah, no, for sure. You got trolled on Discord because of that?
I don't know if I got trolled. I think it was more like, hey, we appreciate and understand what you were doing.
I love it.
I was like selling 10s at Raw, and in hindsight, I'm glad that like I pulled it down and like cooler heads prevailed because he will come back. He didn't do any drugs. He didn't harm anybody, and I don't think this is something that's going to be damning long term. But in the short term, where I think your goal was to potentially unload by national or at least August at the latest.
Yep.
Now you're kind of like you have to hold longer than you probably wanted to.
Yep. So I'm going to hold. Those were going to be my trade bait in the national. Well, can't do that now. So I was going to grade him. I'll just slow roll grade him. I mean, I still think he's going to be a great player. I mean, Tatis Jr. had hype coming back, and I think Jameson Williams. He didn't do steroids. He didn't had drunk driving. Went to jail. He bet on sports that's legal in Michigan. So it just doesn't make sense to me. That's like Calvin Ridley. I bet he has a little spike too. He's in the Jacksonville Jaguars. this year, and they're projected to be number one in their division, win their division.
Yeah, I've actually seen a lot of money. Wasn't it the guy from Backyard Breaks placed a massive bet on them to win the division?
Yeah, he put like $55,000 or $60,000 on them to win the division. I mean, who's their competition?
So, and we didn't even talk about this, but can I share a story? Like it's going to be not articulated. It's not. I'm not going to do the service that it deserves. But we were over at TNT dropping off cards and picking up cards, and I will say, picking up Manny. Manny, if you go back, he used to complain about how he was doing. I swear to God, Manny crushes me when it comes to grading. His last sub came back all tens except for one card. I went 50% gem rate. Manny was clipping at a high level. So big ups to Manny.
That's because I know why. No, don't pass this. It's because Jeremy has a lot of money, guys. And he told me he doesn't care. He doesn't look at his cards. He just throws them to TNT to have them reviewed. I'm over here with my light, like, is this going to 10? No. So I'm like Frankenstein in it, trying to figure out if they're going to 10 or not. And you're just like, yep, don't care, don't have the time.
I used Kurt's Card Care. I used Striving for Tens. I used machines. I did everything. The computers told me they were perfect, and PSA still said, nah, son. You take your 4 and get the hell out of my face. No. So anyway, in all seriousness, this guy walks in and he brings a ton of food. And they're like, hey, we want to introduce you to, Courtney and Jeremy, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, this guy was a veteran, served for many years, and he heads a foundation called Invisible Soldier. And they're big. They're in like 15 plus states. And what they do is they provide support and goods and services for, essentially, veterans who are going through it, whether it's, PTSD, they're homeless, problems with drugs and alcohol. And you know who one of their biggest contributors are? Or supporters that help bankroll this thing? Like the Backyard Breaks folks.
Oh, do they? That's awesome.
I had no idea. And then, it got us to talking. It's like, how come you never hear about this stuff? How come, you always hear about the shenanigans, and I've always been like, hey, that's not my cup of tea. But if it gets people into it, I understand when I was a 15-year-old knucklehead that, 35, 40, 45, 50-year-old adults probably looked at me like you're a damn idiot. Meanwhile, when I was a kid, I was like, I'm the coolest, freshest thing that's ever been, created.
It's because it's kind of like I was talking to my friend earlier about the live, because that just happened with versus PGA, and the hobby's like the PGA Tour. It's a bunch of older generation that this is our hobby. Do not change it. And Backyard Breaks, and I would even say sometimes us, we aren't the typical podcast. We're bringing a new life into the hobby that we like and we enjoy. We like the entertainment. If me and Jeremy had 6-packs, you would see our 6-packs. We'd be crop topped on this podcast right now. Talking like I was waiting for Jeremy. Jeremy was
no, you know what? Because you're spot on. You know what, son of a bitch, by the end of the summer, I'm just going to do one 98% nude. Like, hey, this is my summer body. You know what I mean? It's what is it, married husband, hot boy summer or something like that? Hot boy summer. Me and Manny are taking the lead on hot boy summer. And we're going to be up in this joint 94% naked, just showing off what the good Lord gave us.
Yep. Shout out F504 and Blaine. That's going to see our bodies first. I'll send you DMs.
Man, but you know what? That's very good too. But one thing that I noticed, or that caught my attention, is I always heard bad stories about that, and it was just like it never meant enough for me to go check it out. But if you think back to last summer, we were at the Borgata. Thank God, at Atlantic City at National, you had to go to the Borgata to get the hell away from whatever the hell that dump of a town was, and we were ripping wax, right? We were in that room where you need a special key to get in. It was essentially, the room was you had to go through an extra level of security. And it was glass walls, so you could see out into the casino. And it kind of seemed like those elevators were the who's who we're staying at. And the one guy, and forgive me if I get his name wrong, I think it's Grant.
It's Grant.
The main face was there, and every kid that came up to him, he spoke to him very nicely. He did autographs, he took pictures and chatted with all these 14, 15, 16, 17-year-old kids who they clearly looked up to him because they were wearing the headbands and like the weird shirts and stuff like that. And so like maybe as like old curmudgeons or people who are stuck in our ways, we're like kind of easy to just be like, oh, that's lame and dismiss it without, giving it some more. And I'm not saying that they're good or they're bad. I'm just saying that like, hey man, the one time I saw him, he was treating people cool, and then I just met a veteran who sacrificed a lot of the quality of his life so you and me can record a dumbass podcast and talk about being, 3/4 naked and stuff. So,
Yeah, exactly.
just food for just throwing it out there. Just a random story.
Yeah, when I see him, he's nice outside the camera. And there's people in the hobby that you think are like really cool and in the camera, like doing content, and they're D-bags in person. They don't want to talk to anybody. So I do give him props for that. He even you didn't even say that. He even like shook your hand and gave you a hug and signed your forehead. That was nice of Grant to stop and do that for you. I mean, I know you're a big fan, so I'm glad he did that for you. It was a special day for me to see you happy.
Yeah, I was like totally fangirling, and you know what I mean. I was just like, I had to shoot my shot, and you miss 100% of the shots that you don't take. So I went for it. Shout out to Bill or whatever the hell his name is from Backyard. What's his name? Brant?
We would try to get him on so that you guys can fangirl with each other. Actually, you'd be fangirling with him, and
oh, because I was trying to tell like a nice story. No, I'm gonna end up sounding like an ass because I don't know who the guy is. I'm just saying I heard a cool story, and then I like my one time seeing him in real life and the way he treated people. Maybe they're not as crazy, or maybe people are just hateful and jealous that those guys found a recipe to sell cards, have fun, and make some serious damn loot.
I know. I'm trying to do that. Me and Jeremy have fun all the time. So we're doing this podcast for my therapy. My big sponsor is I want a therapist to sponsor me so I can get some therapy, daily therapy.
It's like one of those ones where you don't have to leave the house for that you can text therapy or whatever. Oh yeah, that would be a perfect candidate because those are the sorts of people that listen to this garbage.
Oh yeah. Well, my wife told me just talk to that AI that just came out, that chat GPT, and you act like you're talking to someone and make you feel happy.
So like but it's bad when even the chat GPT is like, yeah, you guys are lame.
Yeah, the chat GPT is like, I'm busy, I got to get to work, so leave me alone. But
yeah, so
let's
get back on track, man.
Yeah. Let's get back on track. We talked about our L's. We always talk about our L's, but something's positive going on with both of us right now. Our Comc orders, if you listened to us a couple months ago, we sent in some cards. They're actually starting to pop, and we are making loot on this Comc order. And you won't think like, yeah, Jeremy and I usually stick around that $50 to like $500 range most of the time, but these $1 to $100, I should say, that we're just sitting around, it's just all extra money, and I'm loving it. So, Jeremy, tell me how you're feeling.
I regret not taking the time many years ago to truly understand Comc and understand how it works and how it could impact my life.
Yeah.
We essentially took, and I'm going to speak for Reckless. We took a bunch of cards as we were trying to consolidate. Wanted to get out of the dollar box just because it was just like too much anxiety. So we took like 200 cards that are probably valued between, on average, $2 to $10. I'm sure there's a couple that are probably 50 cents, 75 cents, and I'm sure there's a couple that are probably a little bit more. Cards that we weren't going to grade, cards that were just sitting there not doing anything. Packed it up in a box, sent it out months ago, told all of you that we would share our progress. A couple weeks after sending them out, I got an email that said, hey, all of your cards will be uploaded by, first or second week of May. Cool. Didn't think anything of it. About 2 weeks ago, got a note in the middle of the night, hey, we're starting to process your order. Please deposit funds. So the ingestion is 50 cents a card. So I had let's just say 250 cards. So I deposited $125. That way they go. As of right now, they've got about 100, 115 uploaded. I went in there and I priced my cards, between 1 cent to 50 cents cheaper than every other card listed because, mind you, these were cards that meant nothing to me that were just sitting collecting dust. So, as far as I'm concerned, let's get liquid, let's get that cash ASAP. And started getting the offers, started selling cards, moving it. And now I will actively be looking for those boxes where I can get them, send them in. You forget about them for a couple of months, but there's clearly a lot of activity on this website.
Yes. I I sell I'm selling cards faster than I would on eBay. Like, I post them, and within seconds, I got someone trying to do an offer. And the thing that's crazy about Comc, I don't know if you experience this, if you counter, it seems like they just respond super quick. And the key is you don't have to ship the cards. They ship the cards. You just do a one-time shipping, and we put, like, for example, with me, I put 200 cards. I put $125 as well. They don't they do like 7 to 10 cards a night, it seems like. So if you
Yeah.
sell some, eventually you don't have to put any more money in. Like, I could send another 200 cards now, and it'll be free because I'm starting to sell cards at this point that I could it's just a one-time fee of like that you have to bring up front. So if you have like $100, send 200 cards in. That the range is from, I would say, what would you say, 150 to up. Don't send anything that's less than 150, because I don't think
Yeah.
you will make your money at that point. But anything, like, you could buy, like, I would go to, like, Too Thick Fam. Listen to me, hear me out. If you're trying to make money, don't listen. See, this is where they're gonna be like, yeah, this loser loses all the time. But
Quit pumping. Quit
no,
pumping.
go to card shows before Card Collector gets there. Buy the $2 to $5 boxes. Go through those bad boys. Get like 200 cards. Ship those things to ComC right when you get them. Ship them to ComC because you'll get a deal on the whole lot at the card show because they're trying to get rid of them. And you send them to ComC and just let them sit there. If you have funds where you could just hold and just send, and then that money you could use to buy bigger cards on ComC. Shout out Trees because that's what he does. And if you look at his collection, you'd be amazed on how many McDavids he has autos just because he sells these lower end cards.
Yeah, I haven't even gone on there and started buying yet. There's one big card that caught my eye that I'm not going to say anything until I lock that bad boy down.
You don't want
But there's a dashboard, and so of like the 98 cards that are uploaded, my total, like the value that they would place on it based on my asking price. So take it with a grain of salt. It's essentially $450.
Yep.
Even if I took 50%, that's $225 with only half my order of cards that I do not care about.
Yep.
Do not care about. They're not quite big enough to grade. That don't want to lug them around to sell them and haggle with people. They just sit up there and as people. And really, to Manny's point, I recognized real quick because I was just accepting every offer that came my way that, wait a minute, if I'm just dumping these because I don't care, why would I ever pay full price? I would offer. So what I found is I am already the cheapest available. So I counter, and I would say outside of one time, everybody accepts the counter offer.
Yes. Yep. Same with me. And
you know what I mean? So,
well,
go ahead.
What I was saying is, like, if you're a buyer, I don't know if when you're realizing that you're selling, ComC gives you like a SRP, right, of the card. And you could be savvy if you're buying. And I think this is what Trees does. People will put that SRP just to save time to get through their cards. And if you go on eBay, they're actually more on eBay, and you can hurry up and buy them on ComC for way cheaper. I
Yeah.
don't know if you noticed that. Like, you could buy so many cards on ComC for way cheaper because it's you're using their kind of base of what the card is.
Yeah, and so and full disclosure, I have baseball, basketball, football, soccer, hockey, F1, MMA, and wrestling, and I have sold cards from all of those categories.
Oh yeah, isn't that crazy?
It's wild.
Isn't it also
It is.
crazy that, like, it brings you back to 2020 because if a guy has a good game, like an NBA player in the playoffs, you could get on ComC and wipe out people's pages before they're able to
Exactly.
update their prices because people forget. And that's where my mind was going.
Well, and then also you can take advantage. You can take advantage of the fact that I'm sure there's a lot of people who aren't routinely updating this.
Yep.
There's people just like set it and forget it, and as the money comes in, it comes in. So to your point, if you're on top of it or you're watching things, there is an incredible opportunity. So we're actually on Reckless. Make sure you check out the YouTube, subscribe, all that good shit. We're gonna do a video on it, and we're gonna talk about it because there are some stuff like there is a withdrawal when you go to pull your money out, and I think that's why Trees buys a lot of cards because it's a way to maximize your value. And we're also gonna have the owner on second week of May when we get back from Vegas on an episode of Hobby Night School to kind of talk about it and get to the nitty gritty. But thus far, Manny, I'm glad that you took the lead and you put a boot in my ass to do this because I thought I knew about ComC, and I feel like this is going to be part of my goal is on a monthly basis to ship them cards.
Exactly. Because it takes 5 months. It takes like 5 months for them to put it in, which I mean, you laugh, but it's good because like right now you could be buying cheap basketball. And if you plan it right,
Yes.
it's coming right when basketball season starts. And if you could kind of get that market down, you go through these dollar boxes right now of players that aren't in the playoffs or $2 boxes and just ship them and forget about them. Like right now I have that's uploading right now for me at Jordan Poole cards and the playoffs. I'm like, let me put it a little higher and see if it sells. So
have any of your Ruiz come up yet?
Not yet. I'm like, come on, Rui, let's go. Before the first round's over, I'm like waiting for those to come. Most of mine are the soccer ones that from that lot I bought. So, and they're selling quick, and they're players that I didn't even know. And they're like, because there's people PCing them.
The cool thing about this is sometimes when you're in the hobby, and this is one thing I struggled at the beginning. I really struggled, and the only way I knew how to the struggle was some days there was no activity.
Yes.
Like, hey, I just bought a hobby box. I have a couple of cards. I'm timid. I'm not really grading yet. What do I do? And that like lack of action always kind of bothered me. And now I've kind of learned like on a weekly basis, I'm dropping off cards for grading. On a weekly basis, I'm buying cards and selling cards. I'm sending stuff out routinely that on that, whatever goes out this week when it comes up, you said 5 months, when it comes up in September, I'll have like that activity. And so just like you don't get that immediate gratification that all of us, want, but you're planting seeds. And when they sprout, you'll have that hobby week where it's like, man, PSA, BGS, and SGC order popped, my cards uploaded to ComC. I've got a show and a Panini redemption came in. This is the greatest hobby week ever. And so I encourage people who like the activity and the action like myself, go ahead and take that action now. It's you're not gonna have that immediate ROI, but future Thiccolo, you'll be happy that you did that.
Yeah, I like what you said, planting seeds. What it reminded me of, it's kind of like becoming a parent, and you're a guy, and you plant the seed, and then in 9 months, you're like, yes, that's my kid, and that's kind of like how ComC is. It's a good analogy, isn't it?
That's a clip right there, and the clip is just going to be like, yeah.
You saw my head go over when you were saying it.
Yeah.
Thinking of it.
That clip is going to roll through every sorority in America. Just Manny, yeah.
Plant that seed. No, I do agree though. Like right now, if you could go, so you're going to a card show this weekend.
I am.
My advice to you, and I know I don't give you a lot of advice, buy cheap end football and basketball because in September, or even if you could buy baseball teams that you project to go into the World's or playoffs, that's that time right now to be buying the cheaper end stuff to put in ComC.
Well, let's talk about it. If you were to remove like what looks sexy on the internet, right? Like Kaboom, Downtown, Cracked Ice, and you were just to show Yeah, if you, dude, we might be in the minority of that. That thing continues to
Oh,
pick up
no,
speed, and I do not understand it.
no, it's
I
because
do not understand it.
there's a lot of potheads in our hobby. Shout out
But
Tree.
when you buy a card for $1 and with no effort you sell it for $6, that 6x return is beautiful if you were just to look at numbers.
Yep. Yeah.
Buying a card for $1,000, having your money tied up, and then ultimately months later selling it for $1,050 because it didn't take the jump that you want, or you were so scared that your money's tied up for that long, you take a little bit less of the ROI because you just want to get your money back. That isn't so like damn sexy. And we were talking with Brad from Hollister, and he absolutely cleans up playing in that space. And so if you're like, hey, I want to turn 1 into 10, 10 into 100, 100 into 1,000, you can do it like doing the sexy way, no doubt. But it's kind of easy if you're willing to play over with the cheaper cards.
Exactly. I don't know. You're gonna have to beat Brad at Stanton because I think he's going. So you might have to stiff arm him away from the boxes, so you can get your
I mean,
deals.
like, and here's the thing. I wish I could say like, here's actual, and I know your head's gonna explode, but like, here's data. Hey, I spent $50 on dollar cards, and this is what it turned into. I don't have that readily available, but I know in my core, that we've made so much more money there doing that than buying a Devin Booker downtown for $750 and then holding it for X amount of time and then selling it for 850, 900.
It's because
It's cool.
yeah, that's what the cool kids are
It's
doing.
cool to take a picture of it and be like Instagram and get your likes and then like talk about it at the show and then have people talk down to you and tell you, it's an awesome card, but he dated a Kardashian, or he's never won a championship, therefore it's only $42. Sell it to me. That's all cool. My best flip, at Lansing. Do you know what it is?
At Lansing,
Yep.
Jordan Love.
Nope. This guy came. That was a really good flip. One of those, those like those big square plastic things where
Yes.
it's got like the notch and you pack the cards in.
Yeah.
This guy brought it up to me, so I pulled it out, and he's like, "They're all mem cards or autographs, $3 a piece." Okay, so I went through it, and they were all like cool cards, but not players. Like I wasn't gonna be able to sell it, so I was like, "Hey man, these are cool. I'm not interested." So there was one card that wouldn't fit. And he's like, "Here." He's like, "Will you please just take this?" And so I was like, "Okay, cool." So I threw it in the showcase, put it on $7. Like a half an hour later, somebody came and bought it. And I was like, somebody bought a Randy Johnson card for $7, no haggling, no questions asked. 0 into 7. Those margins, my friend, are chef's kiss.
There you go. That's my biggest. I would say my biggest margins were probably those Michigan State cards I got at Skyline. And, I mean,
Yes.
they're $10 to $20, and I was buying them at $5 at Skyline and selling them at 10 to 15, 10 to 20 between there, and they were going like hotcakes.
On a side note, does Jordan Howard and Jeremy Langford stuff move?
They might Michigan because of Bears. Yeah, I mean you
Well,
have
not
to.
because of the Bears, but because of Michigan State.
Yeah, I would think so. Like, look at I bought for the Lansing show Gary Harris numbered,
Gary Harris.
Xavier
There you
Tillman.
go.
Oh, what a piece of poop! There, look at another one just popped out. Son of a
My guy.
another cheap card out of 50. Like I said, I'm just buying like cheaper cards. I mean, I'm broke from Jamison Williams. I gotta go back to the roots.
Back in those dime bins, man.
I know.
Back in those dime bins.
No, so yeah, I think we're both enjoying the hobby. Like I said, I was buying I just bought Dragon Ball Z TCG or Demon Slayer, a case of Demon Slayer TCG, and it's out the 28th, which is tomorrow.
Is that what Brandon ripped today?
No, he ripped Y Schwartz
Okay.
Chainsaw Man. They were breaking them in Hong Kong because they're ahead. They're in the future. So they were breaking early release. So I was watching. I'm like, I want mine. I want mine to come in. I was getting all like, aroused. Like, come on. I want my case in. I want to rip it open and get some hits. Send it to TNT and send them off because I'm excited. Demon Slayer's I got so many people after that Brandon episode DMing me saying, asking me where I watched the show and how do I get into TCG. So there's people out there that want to do it. And I do appreciate Brandon. Maybe we'll have to have him on a little bit more because there is people that really want to learn the TCG world.
I'm having a blast. The cards are freaking cool. They're awesome looking. Now, I will tell you something that I struggle with, and this is probably me because I'm like, you use terms like noob, N-E-W-B. You throw those words around. You say noob, so I'm allegedly a noob in this space. But I see a cool freaking card. I'm like, man, I want to buy that damn thing. And then you're like, no, you can't use it because he only has ultra power points of 37, and you need a 26x like this. Since you speak a language that I don't understand,
where's the wafu?
Card?
No wafu power.
Hey, dude, I think I found a wafu the other day. I texted y'all. I was like, the homies are gonna think I'm cool because I'm sending them wafu pics. No shit, for real. I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna speak their language. Here's a little wafu.
What did you said it like Mario? Wafu,
wafu. It's me, a wafu.
No,
it's me, a wafu.
The cards are great. I hold on, I'm gonna pull it up real quick. If you're watching YouTube, that's the wafu picture. Boa.
Yeah, that's a wafu. I had to hook y'all up with the wafu
from One Piece. So, but yeah, I mean, it's fun. It's hard to understand because there's no like he was saying on our show, Cardboard Connection. That's telling you the checklist. That's telling you what you could actually get. What's the rare stuff. So there's something in the space of the TCG world that's needed in that aspect. And I'm getting excited. I love it because I just bought a case for $800. I get 12 boxes. I get my case hit. I get some other hits that I'm going to send in for $800. So I'm pumped.
Yeah, I mean, if you saw Brandon, whatever the hell it is he ripped today,
yep,
he took one hit and then he sold everything else. And we were messaging and I was asking about it. He's like, yeah, anybody who black labels out of this is going to make some serious coin.
Yeah.
And I thought that was cool, man. Like, it's smart. He's sticking to it. He picked the one card. He made his money back on the case and he's going to have upside. So I think just like from the value proposition, I mean, like, I don't know how else to say this. Like, I'm by no means a TCG guy, but if I had $800 to spend right now, if it was one hobby box or an entire case,
yep.
Even if I don't know what the hell I'm ripping, I think I'm going to go with the case just because the sheer volume and the quality and what the cards look like.
Yeah, I don't know why people wouldn't. I'm trying to bring this up. If you like anime, you should be getting into this. I'm not trying to pump it up, but you would really enjoy it. That one card, that Son Goku that you saw, that was like $2,000. Mm-hmm. Isn't that insane?
It's that nuts, card, dude.
Huh?
That's absolutely nuts.
Yeah. So, and the cases are what? The boxes alone are like $70, and you could pull this card right here. Let me show everyone. Let me bring it up. Let me bring it up right here. Check this out, Jeremy. And that's like like the 90s inserts where you rotate it and then it shows the image. That type of card. And like he was saying, there's the SR. $4,000 is what someone's bidding, but there is one that's like 2,000 right now with bids. So I wouldn't be surprised if the people that lose that won't come over and buy this one because that one was raw.
It's just wild, man.
Yeah,
absolutely wild. So it's not all TCG. Bowman's out today, and I absolutely ruined a group chat. Absolutely ruined a damn group chat.
False
So
news.
I am not a very good social texter. I very rarely contribute. If I'm in a group chat, I very rarely contribute. Even if I have something to say, I just don't. If I am in a group chat or DM with Instagram, I pick and choose my spots. Otherwise, I'm kind of more like on the lurking side. Like I read, I stay up to speed. Well, I just strolling through Twitter today, and I saw that the superfractor of Drew Jones was pulled. Took a screenshot, no big deal. Went into another chat, and everybody was talking about what's been pulled, and somebody was killing themselves, spending a ton of money, and I'm like, hey guys, not sure if this was posted, but I think this was pulled earlier. Only for a few minutes later for somebody to be like, yeah, that ain't real. To which I hope that you can appreciate this, Manny. I went back in, I replied to my own comment and just said, hey guys, I am a big stupid. I didn't fact check this. I didn't go whatever. I think I might have bamboozled. I was hoaxed. I am suspending myself from contributing to any texts or any sort of messaging. I'll go F myself.
The best part of that whole conversation is he says that, and Kaylee's like laughing at me, my wife, and she's like, "What are you laughing at?" I was like, "You know when there's a flame and you throw some like more gas on it? That's what I'm doing to Jeremy right now." So I start messing with Jeremy. I said, "Fake news," and I throw up the red card, and I said, "Go to timeout. You're done with the chat."
And what did I do? I said, you're 100% right. And then I hashtagged it accountable.
And then never went back in the chat.
And never went back. I showed myself the door and got the hell up out of there, man.
As fast as you can. No, Bowman, everyone's pumped about Bowman because of that bounty. What is it? A year? What is it? A year? 1 year $1 million bounty or something like that? What was the bounty?
Dude, there are so many bounties. I know Whatnot's doing a bounty. I know Drip is doing a bounty. I know that there's just bounties everywhere.
I'm
But
tired of this bounty shit in the
can I
hobby.
can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
And I full disclosure, I almost don't want to ask the question because you and I might paint ourselves like idiots. What exactly are the bounties and how do they work? Like, I think I have an idea, but I'm not for certain. And I know if I'm thinking, I'm sure there's other people. So,
So
what the hell is the bounty? How does it work?
what I'm thinking is if you pull it, you go to these people.
Oh, not what you're thinking. So you don't know the answer.
Wait, no, that's it, right? No,
What is it? I don't know what.
you pull the card. Say you pull the 1 of 1, then you go to these
Okay.
companies. Say you go to Whatnot and be like, I pulled the card, and they pay you for the card. That's the bounty. You're like the bounty.
Oh,
You're like the bounty hunter.
so like when they were giving away cars and stuff like that, you didn't get the card plus the car. You had to like
Yeah, you
give them the
switch.
card.
Yeah,
Ah,
they
okay.
want the card so for their platform. I bet. So like,
Okay.
Drip wants it. Whatnot wants it. When Shine did that Luca bounty, it's because he wanted to buy it, so he's putting a $1 million bounty, and then someone else put a $2 million, so they were just raising each other's bounty at that point. So then it's just
That's funny because I understood it when it was an individual. Like I understood the shine. I guess like the bounties from the platforms for whatever reason I thought there was something slightly different about them. But I guess that's pretty straightforward. So I'll just paint myself like an idiot. Today's not my day.
red card double, 3-game suspension. No, I think it's kind of dumb at that point because if I pull it, yeah, $1 million tempting, but why not just get it graded and put it in a Goldin auction house or PWCC and get that special treatment, because Goldin's and PWCC are both going to be fighting for that card also. So you could get, I don't know, is that greedy?
Can I tell you something?
What?
You brought up Golden, and
the
I am not at all excited for this show.
You don't want to see Kenny G and Peyton Manning?
I don't think so, man.
Did you see the premiere show? I know you just got back from New York, so I know you were at that Omaha Productions with all the high class in the hobby.
Yeah, it was me, Cage, Jason Koontz, just like hanging out, hugging each other, trading our Ken Golden cards to one another.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, the Ken Golden cards. He was saying that's the best cards in the hobby. Let me know, too, Thick fam, how do you feel about this Netflix series? Are you guys going to watch it? It's like a 6-episode series. It's about collectibles, not really cards. There might be some
Yeah.
cards in it, but it's mostly collectibles. Are you guys going to watch it? Is it going to be a boost in our market, or what? I know how the double coverage guys feel about it, and I'll let them share it. But they're best friends with Kenny G. Let's just put it that way.
Shout out to Saucy. Welcome to married life, my friend.
Yeah,
Congratulations to him. I shot him a note. I hope marriage is treating him well.
yeah. He, I haven't talked to him since, so must be treating him well. I asked him if he had a
Yeah,
kid.
I just you're a dick. Let him
So,
enjoy married life for a little bit. He doesn't have to have kids, and you know, he doesn't
yeah.
have to go there yet. He can enjoy it a little bit. Yeah,
So
just like I saw the preview for the show, I just don't find it. There's nothing about it that looks even remotely. And here's the thing that I think that might potentially suck with Stardom as the podcast grows is like if Ken was like, "Hey, Manny, hey, you and Ruben need to come over and check this out." And Michael Rubin, he's got a couple more bucks than you, has the ability to big time him because he has FU money. You are now in an awkward situation where you're like, I don't really want to, but it might be rude and it might be damning to my career. So I have to go and pretend to be interested.
I'm not saying anything because our fans are smart. Our Thiccests are smart. So if we ever got partnered with Goldin, they're going to come back to this episode and just clip what you said and send it to.
Well, I said I'm not excited about a TV show. Everybody, you can go and clip everything. I'm not a TV person.
Yeah.
And the previews did absolutely nothing for me, man.
No, I agree. I am excited to see. The only thing I'm excited to see is how they capture the actual hobby, because I want to know who they put in this film, if it in a series, if it's actually people that are, what they say, the boots on the ground, actually buying
Yeah.
cards. We all know Shine's going to be in it. He buys like cards that we'll never be able to buy, but I'm curious on other people. Like, are they going to have people that we've never heard of on like through social on this, saying that they're really big into hobby? I want to see how that plays out.
Yeah, that's true. And I think one thing that I've already heard, and maybe I don't want to misrepresent anything, so please do your own homework, but I believe I've heard that a lot of this was filmed where things were at like a super high.
Ooh, that's going to look bad.
So it might be a little bit misrepresentative of what's truly going on in any given marketplace, because 2 years ago is a hell of a lot different than what we're experiencing right now.
True. You think they'll show that Aaron Judge 7th all-time list home run ball?
I don't know why they're not going to come for me. They're going to come for you, my friend.
I'll tell them. I said it's not even the Barry Bonds has the record. Sammy Sosa did it twice.
Oh, man.
Oh, well.
So I will say this. So who is the Detroit Lions running back? Don't look.
David Montgomery.
Who else?
Swift.
DeAndre Swift, right?
Yep.
And Twitter just popped up, and it's, what the hell, Lions select a running back.
Did they get Bijan Robinson?
I don't know. It's just like
I was hoping he fell to the Cowboys.
No, Gibbs from Alabama with the 12th pick in the draft.
They better not. If Bijan's still available.
12th, and I don't want to. I want to get back to the pod, but I just it was just kept popping up like crazy.
Yeah.
It's just absolutely wild right there. So
he already got drafted. Okay.
Yeah, he went a little bit ago. So this hobby beef, can you please explain to me what this hobby beef is and how I got dragged into it?
Oh, with Oscar?
This hobby podcast beef, because you sent it to me. I listened, and I am like, why is my name being mentioned in any of this? I have absolutely nothing to do with it. I'm not in any group chat. I'm not talking smack about the Phillies or Geno's cheesesteaks or whatever the hell those people do in Western New Jersey or wherever the hell it is they live. Like, why am I being dragged into this thing?
So we have a hobby beef with the Cousins collectibles, and you're just a Ricochet shot. It's really just me and Oscar, aka
Okay.
People's Mailman, aka Wet Bandit. And the reason it started is because remember when I had that Kakao Woody? He jokingly
Yeah.
said on his podcast that I was pumping it up, and then I did a crap job of doing it because it only sold for $810, and they thought it was going to go for a couple thousand. So then I called him the Wet Bandit because he works for USPS and people's mail gets stolen. And then they came out again today and said that, or last week, and said they want to do a wrestling match because we were talking about it on the DM saying they're gonna be, I forgot who they said, but Shawn Michaels and someone else, where Shawn Michaels turns on with a tag partner.
Marty Jannetty.
Yes.
Gary Jannetty. Marty Jannetty, the Rockers or something like that. The barber shop puts them through the glass or something. I appreciated, full disclosure, when they were talking about it, I appreciated the wrestling reference.
Yes. So I told them that we're the luchadors and we're going to wear the skin tight, like, what are they called? The leotards with the Mexican mask. And we're going to do a tag team in the middle of the floor of the National. We're going to have a tag team wrestling match. We'll have Mr. Rob G, Mr. Rob, Gangster Rob. That's why I call him Rob G. Mr. Tony Soprano, the sports card therapist, as our referee. So it'll be a good time. Hell, we'll do it at their trade night. We'll ruin the trade night. We'll just body slam each other on some tables.
I don't think we can ruin it. I think enhance it, make it better. Definitely.
That's true.
Again, I don't know what the happy beef is. Maybe they can find a therapist or somebody to help them work it out.
Yeah.
I don't know. We're just kind of over here doing our own thing.
Well, they got a therapist. They got a therapist on their side. So, well, you ever watch the Dudley Boys, the What's Up? When they do the What's Up, do you remember that?
I know. Get the tables.
We're gonna do that at the trade night. I'm just gonna walk in. We'll walk in, and I'll have the glasses, and we'll just look like Stone Cold Face, and just yell, "Get the tables." And then the What's Up is where the guy holds the legs, and the other guy goes and headbutts the leg, like the scrotum area. So,
dude, was it Devon?
Yes.
Devon and Bubba Ray. Devon just doing flying headbutts off the top rope. So let me rewind you 20 plus years ago. The Odeum, Lake Villa, there was a promotion called ECW, ran by Paul Heyman. And at the time, one of the biggest groups or factions in wrestling was the Dudley Boys. And there was more than just Devon and Bubba Ray. There was Big Dick, there was Spike, there was this whole faction of Dudley Boys. And then there was this high-flying, 6'10", 270-pound guy by the name of Mike Awesome.
Yeah.
And they used to have a show that would go live or not live, it was pre-recorded, but it would air Friday nights. It was their equivalent of Monday Night Raw or Nitro. So it was my first time ever seeing it live, and it was the first time I ever saw like blood, cursing, damn near nudity. And I remember vividly Rhino goring people, which is a spear through a table. And I remember you have the ring, the square circle, then you have like the metal barricade, then you had the people. And Mike Awesome came and took Spike Dudley. And Spike Dudley, I believe, wrestled in the WWE for a little bit. They took him and he threw him. And there's just this little fucking man flying through the air into the crowd. Like, we had to catch this guy. Like, we had to take the bump. And I remember him getting on the microphone and going, "You little piece of shit." And I was an impressionable young man. And then, so, as a result of that, the only natural thing you can do when you see a flying person through the air and they get called a piece of shit, you know what you do?
Yeah. What?
You go, EC dub, EC dub, EC dub, EC dub. I tell that long-winded story to be like, hey, if we have to get the tables, if we have to do flying headbutts into sacks, if we have to throw people into a screaming audience of,
trade night,
EC dub, hardcore wrestling badass, that's not beneath me. I'll go there.
Yeah, no. So you threw out our secret weapon. Our spike was supposed to be Steven that we're going to toss into the freak at him. He was going to be our human torpedo.
Man. Yeah, no, but in all seriousness, though,
Yeah.
shout out to the nephew collectibles. They're holding New Jersey down, doing damn fine stuff. They got the therapist who's carrying them to the finish line, so I'm happy for them.
Yeah, same. Those Dominicans. Oh, I just call them Dominicans, Jeremy.
I'm not touching. I have no idea what you guys are
Those,
talking about. Leave me out of your beef.
those Puerto Ricans don't like to be called Dominicans. So shout out to those Dominicans on the other podcast. And lastly, let's get into the thickest of the week, Jeremy.
What the hell happened to you, man? Manny woke up and just chose violence. He's just starting shit everywhere.
It's because my testosterone's going.
I'm telling you that. Yeah, that clip is gonna go viral and not for a good way.
That Demon Slayer's coming. I'm excited. Yeah. So, all right, thickest of the week.
There's some jokes in there to unpack, but I'm not touching it.
So the first one, we have two of them because I thought of one as we were doing the podcast. The first one is a reoccurring guest. I've seen this guy on TikTok multiple times, so I'm like, Jeremy, we have to bring him back. I go up in card shows and I say his name and people know exactly who I'm talking about. So let me share.
This is your boy. He gets crowbarred into any conversation. You can be like, yeah, so my steak was cooked awful at Smith and Lewinsky's. And you're like, yeah, but what about Danny Burgers?
So here's my boy Danny Burgers.
This Padres pitch is shitting bricks right now. Why? Because Danny fucking Burgers is up and back. Guy just ordered Shake Shack straight to the dugout. This guy Buck tipped the delivery boy $50. Look at them snotty onions on the lips. Goodbye.
So that's our number one, right?
Very rarely do I watch like a reel or a TikTok and I'm impressed by it. That one that cracks me up, man. That's shout out Danny.
Yeah, look at him.
Athletic specimen right there. Athletic freaking specimen.
Yeah. So I got to find this one. So the Live Golf tournament happened, I think, over the weekend in Australia. And and we had, do you know Bert? Let's see. He's a comedian.
That awful comedian that always has his shirt off?
Yes. So when you get a hole-in-one in this course, you'll see what happens. Hole-in-one, beer goes everywhere. Because it's like this Live is like Happy Gilmore of golf. Right? So everyone's celebrating. And then, let me fast forward it. They pan to the fans. And here's our good comedian, Bert, in the crowd, throwing his shirt in the air because he actually called the hole-in-one prior. So he's celebrating the hole-in-one as any thick person would do. Take their shirt off, and sweaty beefs just going in everywhere. Just imagine the sweat on that shirt as he's whipping it around.
He's picking up enough velocity that it's cooling off as it's traveling through the air. So you legitimately had tummy sweat that's been cooled off by the crisp Brisbane breeze coming out of the west. And it's caressing people's faces as it touches them. Is that really is a Live event, is the crowd more lively than a PGA? Is that truly the norm?
Yeah. So they play 3 nights a week instead of 4. And they play music as they're golfing and people are talking, they're talking shit. Like it reminds me of like Happy Gilmore if he created a league.
So I read something that makes a little bit more sense, that it was modeled, I want to say off of the Live, or it was like the inspiration, but it sounded like Happy Gilmore meets whatever this golf association, the Live, and it's going to be played by Will Ferrell.
Yes. And I think it's off this. So I'm excited to watch that. You don't like Will Ferrell, but I think it's a good idea. They need to have Adam Sandler out there acting like Happy Gilmore. It's just a big fun, it seems like, party. It was in Australia, the last one. So they travel around the world. It's kind of based like F1. They have teams. So there's 12 teams of 4. So there's 48 golfers, and that's it. And they play three times in a night or 3 days. And then the last place person, I was listening to it on Shout Out Double Covers. They brought someone that actually went to the golf course and was a volunteer, made $100,000 for the last place. And PGA people, when they don't get they don't make the cut, they don't make any money.
Wow. Well, man, that was a fast hour.
It was. I was happy. I hope the
fast
people
hour.
Their people are gonna be like, man, when is Manny on?
It's the perfect combination of lack of sleep, uppers, and one adult beverage, and it puts Manny in a special place.
Oh yeah, and Demon Slayer,
which he cut the stone in half.
Yeah,
your boy's watching it. Your boy is watching it. I made a commitment to the next time Brandon comes on, I will be up to speed. So I'm gonna try to hold to it.
Yep. I do want to, because I'm trying to get my own personal sponsor. I'm not, no shame in my game, but Southside Supply just gave me this 1 of 1 shirt. This is one piece. I showed Jeremy, look how sweet this is. And the back has like a most wanted thing. So my thing is, hey, go to his site. Just say Manny sent you. You don't have to buy a shirt. I'm trying to get sponsored by this guy. I'm trying to get some shirts. So just go to his thing, Southside Supply _ Go to his thing and just say Manny sent you.
If you're going to plug something, can I plug something?
Go ahead. We plug. I mean, it's
is that cool?
Show. Yeah, it's our own show.
Okay. So Manny's out there trying to get himself his plug. It hasn't been announced anywhere. I'll break it right here, and Courtney's going to be pissed off. But we're going to start selling on Drip. So go to the Reckless Cards, find the link, go there. You can get free money, and we're going to open up with a free Bowman break, completely free, costs you nothing. You know how we rock. We're going to keep it entertaining, have some fun, but go check it out because you get free money.
Yep.
Free money.
Moolah.
And Drip's not paying me, but actually they should. So make sure you email Drip and tell them pay Jeremy.
There you go. So there's your 2 tasks. Just go and email Drip, say pay Jeremy, and then go to Southside.
Email Southside, tell them pay Manny.
Yeah, no, you don't have to say that. Just say Manny sent you. He'll be like, why?
He'll know.
He'll know. So
he'll know. So hey, do me a favor. You know what people need to do? You can like it. You can do all that good stuff, but unless you're smashing that subscribe button, you're not doing shit. Actually, every time you don't hit the subscribe button, something bad happens to somebody out there who doesn't deserve it. So only you, listener, viewer, can prevent forest fires and bad things happening. Smash that button. Smash it.
You smash it. I hope you guys enjoyed your hobby release. We sure did, as you could tell.
I don't even know what the hell we talked about. We ranted and raved for 60 minutes.
I don't know. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If not, oh well. So
I don't care.
We're back again
next week. You'll still tune in. You know you will.
Yep. So with that, I hope you enjoyed your hobby release, and we'll be back soon. Peace.